Welcome back, everyone. This is Key of W playing Neyyah. So we've just started the game. We've arrived on Neyyah via a Jalood from a place called Olujay. We are called the Old One, and we have been summoned, essentially, to save the world. We're not sure why or how. And we've made our way to a place called Glorfiak Mines. We're looking for Vamir, and to reach him, we have to find his lab and find a Jalood there. A Jalood here being apparently a transportation pod. So let's make our way through the mines, just check everything out here. We can also see on our map where we're meant to go. Glorfiak Mines main island, Lab HQ. So we start here in the cave near an abandoned storage area. We have a gate to bridge and an old mine gateway here. Another old mine gateway there. Hallway. And the lab is over here, so we want to head through this path. Not necessarily up here. The old offices. We also have a guard shed there and a Golorcraft hangar on the way. And then there's the lab, the hangar, and the Jalood Station with the portal. So our goal is to make it here. Let's just check out this old abandoned mine pathway here that's behind us. Ooh, and it's pretty well sealed off by a collapse of some kind. Yeah, just the roof collapsed. No way through that. Never mind. There's also something hanging up here I saw. Hold on. Just barely on the turnaround. There it is. So we've got some weird thing on the wall here. Yeah. It almost looks like an egg with sunglasses on. These triangles. It's strange, but we can take a closer look down here. We've got some bowls and sticks, but we can zoom in on this symbol here. Almost looks like a clock symbol. You got, the clock circle, and we've got the faces almost, like you got a dot here for some reason, but you got the hour hand pointing to, say, 10 or 11, and then the minute hand pointing to the 6. Not sure what this is signifying, but let's just remember this symbol and apply it later once we learn why there is a clock symbol there. Let's see, there was a pathway here. Yep, I saw that. And a doorway we can't open. We can look through. We can see there's a walkway there, so it seems like someplace we should go. But I can't get through. Now, this game has a lot of areas in it that you can't actually access, even though you can look at them. So there are times when I'll see a walkway somewhere and go, man, it'd be cool if we could get there. And sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. So the only way to know is to try. We can look at this box and see a note here that says Glorfiak Mines, Shaft, and then there's a weird symbol here, Operations, Cargo Checked, Process Metal for Harbor Watchtower, Awaiting Transfer to Shaft, another symbol there, Signed Carol Paralay 0704 4231. Something you can do with any bit of text in the game. Well, most. There's a couple pieces of text you can't do this to for some reason. But you can hover over, you can click to clear the text, which just rewrites it in a plain Arial font in case this is hard to read. Now, I'm able to read all the notes in the game just fine, especially having played the game a few times now. But if you're struggling with it, there's no shame in just clicking this and reading the words exactly. Although it's interesting that there are two symbols here that do not change. They become clearer, but they are not English letters. That's not what these are. Shaft, symbol, operations, there's a different shaft. It's like these symbols are being used to differentiate the different mine shafts. Now, the way I personally would differentiate mine shafts, there's three ways. One is a formal name. This is Shaft Jim Bob. This is Shaft Scooter. I don't know why I picked guys' names there, but you name a place. Other way is just using a letter, Shaft A, Shaft B. You can also do Shaft 1 or Shaft 2. That's how I would do it. So these symbols might be stand-ins for that, but I'm not sure what they mean otherwise. That's the only box we get to look at. So let's move on. I see a bucket there. We are allowed to look at the bucket and the rope it's attached to. And if we try to pull this lever, nothing happens. And I don't feel bad spoiling this, but nothing will ever happen when we pull this lever. It's just defunct mine equipment. And I moved forward to the right and facing the other old mine entrance. I'm just going to show so it's clear what I just moved. I was here, right? Or sorry, I was here, and instead of moving this way, I moved this way. So I'm facing the old mine gateway, which has a plaque above it with those same strange letters that we can't read, and the game telling us we could potentially have an item to help us out. And there's that clock symbol again. And then whatever this is. But we can't get in. This is boarded up. There's no removing the boards. Over here is a sink, which we can wash our hands in with the invisible water and also inaudible water. But actually, no, it's just disconnected. Nothing here works. This place has been abandoned quite a while ago. So let's head through what's called the hallway here. Oh, hello. Hello, kitty. Some kind of cat-like creature. Ooh. Alright. We've also got just creepy-looking light on the wall. Like, we've got this fixture here, and the light bulb. And it's got, like, these metal tentacles coming out of it. Hard to say what exactly. It's freaky weird. It almost looks alive. But I think these are metal. Like, these would be wires, but it looks like living vines. Such a strange way of doing a light fixture. And here we are. That's the lab HQ. That's what we're trying to get. So we got some floating bits here. Interestingly enough. There's the portal. And there's the Jalood. We want that Jalood. So we got to get in there and out through this hangar. Let's head on in. Although first I'm going to check out the guard station, or what was it called in the map? It's important I never get anything wrong. Guard shed. Seems more like a check-in station, right? And in fact, we even got a paper here. And yeah, this is absolutely a check-in station. Galorfiac mines, shafts, this symbol, that symbol, and then a brand new symbol. Looks like a janky-ass M. Visitor list. So we got name. This first name here is Lutai Nethim. Check-in 6:30 a.m. Check out at 3:40 p.m. Signature, spelled incorrectly. Just getting out in front of this. There's a lot of typos in the game. I will probably point them out because that's just the type of girl I am. But I don't particularly mind the typos. I just think it's funny that there are so many of them. Ernter P. What a name. 6:30 to 10:20 with a signature. And then we got this strange writing again. So, okay, that's a language. That's a script for a language of some kind. And then we've got these symbols. Oh, hey there. And these symbols look like those, interestingly enough. So perhaps these symbols are telling us numbers, because that's how I would write time. Signature there. Vamir Dahili, 9? That's a 9, yeah, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Yaquil Tili, 10:20 to something we can't read. And then this script again with 11.2, and then what? And then he switched to this type of number in the middle of writing it with Arabic numerals. And then this symbol here, and so strange. Notes. Ernter, what a name. Ernter returning in a couple of days / fix on gate. May require new cable. To clarify, Ruli checked in at 11:26. Notify visitors to keep to their preferred language. May need to speak to Vamir about Small Axe's shift operation, causing too much confusion among Fazaltians. Signed, Carol Perale on 7/04/4231. This would be the 7th of April, if we're using a Gregorian calendar, in the year 4231. So a bit into the future. So this bit here, to clarify, Ruli checked in at 11:26. Now I don't see the name Ruli anywhere here. So either this is Ruli or this is Ruli. Um, and I think this is Ruli because this could easily be 1126. And so Ruli started by writing in Arabic numerals and then halfway through switched to writing in this script. So whatever this symbol is right here must mean the number 6. So that is what these are. So shafts 1, 2, 3, we don't know. But yeah, this is definitely a check-in station. So the guard shed, so people would probably enter from here, right? So what you would do is you'd arrive at the Jalood Station. You'd go into the lab HQ, you'd come down, and then you'd come out along this walkway if you were going to the mine. So you're checking in for a day of whatever. It says visitor check-in, so it's not the workers checking in for duty. And then arrive at this place. And the mines were through this path we just went through. This one, although there is a path here to offices that we can go there now, but there's nothing we can really do. In fact, I'll show you. Let's go down to this old office, which is not our destination, but we're going to go here anyway. And we see a door that's got some kind of thing here, and it's asking us to bring an item, and we don't have an item. I mean, we have fuses, but I happen to know they don't work. They're not the right shape. They're not the right anything. So this door is functionally locked. And if we head up this way to the blue door that was on the map, this blue door is basically a force field. No way through that. There was something on the wall I just skipped right over, if you noticed. Right there. It's another one of these. Looks exactly the same as the one on the office door. We need an item for that. Yeah, we can't interact with that. So this is a dead end. Nothing we can do here, at least at the moment. There seems to be a neat little balcony there. It'd be neat to get over there, but I'm telling you right now, we're never going to get to this balcony here. That's just a thing. Part of the old offices. Anyway, back to the objective that I was so easily distracted from. Just kidding, getting distracted again. So this is the Galore Craft hangar, as it said on the map. And above, I don't know what that is. I mean, if I had to guess, that'd be a camera, because it looks like a big old lens that you'd put on a nice, expensive camera. Hard to say. So here we are, and there is, looks like an alien spaceship of some kind. Well, if this is the Galore Craft hangar, then chances are, is that what it's called? Galore Craft hangar? Yes. Then chances are, this is a Galore Craft, or Galar Craft, or however you pronounce it. There's some kind of device here that is out of commission, and pressing spacebar reveals nothing, so it's not even something we could use if we had an item. It's just a big metal box. And on the wall, a poster that says Galorfiak Mines, Galore Craft Hangar, Craft Control Positions, I can read English, Craft Patrol Positions for the Elopolite Shield. Inactive state, there's a picture here, it's kind of grainy, it says there's 2 armed crafts, hover at the same height as their plasma fountain flute system, await plasma fountain bulb activation. And in the active state, 2 armed craft start separation, fly out from the plasma fountain bulb until it completely shrouds the harbor, patrol harbor before returning back to Galorfiak Mines. So the harbor is not a place that is in the mines. This is not something that we see here. But I guess you take the craft, they hover, they're flying machines. You fly over to wherever this harbor is, and then you activate some kind of a shield. That's what I guess this would be. And my guess is confirmed by the word shield up here. I forgot it said shield 6 seconds after I read it. So we're activating an actual shield. This word is foreign to us, so I don't know if that means the shield is made out of something called Elopolite. And we also don't know why we would need a shield like this. But that's apparently what this craft is used for. It's for activating a shield. On this other side, we can look at these signs, but if we do, we actually can't turn left from here. It's a strange missing node. One of the problems with node-based point-and-click is that there's some times where it feels like you should be able to look at something and the game just randomly says no. But I can zoom in on this wall. It's a very interesting wall. But if we click right here, again, it's helped with this button. Turns out there's a little panel in the wall and there's a symbol behind it. Not interactable, though. We can't do anything with it. But it's good to know this is here. It's just good to know that things are where they need to be. I got 2 more posters here. Galorfiak Mines Galorcraft Hangar. So yes, this is the Galorcraft. There's a Galorfiak metal levitation unit there. Maintenance checks to complete. Galorfiak propulsion units, fans and coolants. Console cables must be fastened to inner roof pumps. No overhanging cables. Clear view for pilot. Want a smooth throttle and brake systems, brake spelled strangely there, and fast steering rod operations. Warm up engines for 5 minutes before executing takeoff. So console, throttle, brake system, and steering rod. Of course, if you're doing it to activate a particular shield, I guess it's not that much of an emergency, because if you can wait 5 minutes before activating the shield, I guess take your time, friends. Galorfiak Mines, Galorcraft Hangar Systems. Rooftop needs to be opened fully for craft to begin levitation. Lever system opens hangar roof, activates air conditioning systems, opens the vents, and internal backup power generator. So yes, this thing here should be a lever system, and there's no lever. It's gone. This is the craft, and then if we look up, that's the roof that would be opened. It would levitate out of this roof and go perform its duties. Let's see if I can go into the craft. Looks like it's been some time since this has seen use. And if I try the levers and things, nothing happens. I guess this would be the lever to raise the craft, and then this is how I would steer the craft. Seems like there's no other controls. We just steer and then raise and lower. I can't operate this, though, and in fact, we will never operate the Galorcraft in this game. Too bad. There may have been a day it was necessary in the past. So I kind of... Maybe those are Galorcraft up in the air. Let me get a better look at these, if it's possible. Can I do it from here? Look up. Yeah, these... They don't quite look like... No, I think those are the Galorcraft. Those look like them. These, but they got crystals on them on the bottom. Instead of the other levitation things from that image. And there's the image of what is behind the portal. Well, we've explored everything we can explore down here. We've put off the inevitable. Let's head this way and see what's in the lab. And the door's even partly open.
Ah, Vamir. I've just finished stacking these heater shells. What did you do with the 4th one? You're not Vamir. Are you the one they were talking about? Vamir and the Pelska? Yes, she said you would come. But what if she's working for Smokes?
Did he send you here?
Oh, it took too long. I mean, Vamir was never gonna trap anyone. I should have.
I must get to Awry.
So, I heard Mason went through the portal and blew himself up, along with the Jalood. Why would he do that? Such a waste. You must return to Awry. The portal that brought you to the lab will take you to the other Jalood. It will be useless to you, of course, without the right programming, which is why you must find the secret portal.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. So let me just get this out of the way, and let's talk about the acting in the game. Um, I don't want to dwell on it a lot, but I wonder how much of the acting and the choices in that are meant to mimic the charm of those 90s FMV games. So, Myst and its imitators, there were other games that would green screen real life actors into the game. And with very few exceptions, those games are remembered for very bad acting. And I don't know 100% if some of the acting choices here, some of the directorial choices are meant to sort of pay an homage to the acting styles of the day. In other words, saying bad on purpose. Um, and I don't particularly care. It's just not great. I'm just going to say it's not great. You probably noticed that it isn't. I don't care too much because I enjoy the game for what it is, and the game doesn't rest on the acting skills. It's not that important. It's just noticeable. It's very noticeable. We're gonna see a few other videos that are like that. Some of them are fine. I enjoy them. Some of them are a bit campy and very enjoyable. I like some of the actors. Some of them are very much not. So I'm just taking the moment now to say I noticed. I'm not sure how much of it is a deliberate choice to do sort of hokey acting and how much of it is maybe the actors aren't great, maybe the actors are good actors, but the directing isn't super great. There's a lot of reasons it can go wrong. And now let's move on. So what happened there was we saw, well, actually, it's kind of said in this transcript document with the emergency call. So let me just go over that. So this is one of our journals. So we can go up here and we can open our journals, or we can press J. And in this emergency video call transcript document, it's going to cover what we just saw. Printed from emergency broadcast monitor, emergency video call, sender Vamir, location Jalood Docking Station. Cletex Communications add-on program booted, converting audio into text data, successful, loading. So, I heard Mason went through the portal and blew himself up, along with the Jalood. Why would he do that? Such a waste. You must return to Olujay. The portal that brought you to the lab will take you to the other Jalood. It will be useless to you, of course, without the right programming, which is why you must find the secret portal. Interference detected, audio and visual unable to be delivered, data salvaged. So he kept talking, but we didn't see it. Follow these instructions. Firstly, grab the Paida case behind you. Once you take it, power will be restored. To access the rest of this lab and other areas I've secured on Neyyah, you'll need a key. It's in my office at the Paida factory of the rival sector. Stronger interference detected. Difficulty in translating audio to text. Loading error detected in program. Program is unable to translate entire conversation. Next page contains salvaged parts of audio. Change locations of the transportation towers. A mask is needed to. Orange Payi. Velatron machine. Zyphor. Lower the Nielda. Once the spores are released at the Nyashka heater chamber, sensors will activate. Go straight to the Pelska shrine. Smolax will come to Neyyah. You must be prepared once activating the bunker teleportation system. Secret portal. Now go. I shall be waiting for you here at the Jalood docking station on Olujay. Okay, let's start with what happened before. We walked into the lab and we met a kid. I mean, he just looks young, okay? He just looks really young. Fun fact, the character Mason is played by the developer of the game, by Aaron Guinair. So we saw Mason, and he at first thought we were Vamir, and then he freaked out because we weren't, and then he realized we're the old one that's being sent by her, whoever that is, and then he wonders if perhaps we're working for Smolax, this name here, and then he says he must get to Olujay, so he runs into the hangar and boards the Jalood that we were going to take. He tries to go through the portal, but then there's an explosion. We don't know why there's an explosion yet, but there is. So Mason got himself blued up. And so now we're in trouble because that was our way to Olujay. So Vamir is now telling us to go back to the other Jalood, which is the Jalood we came to Neyyah from. So at the beginning of the game, we were on this place in Olujay. Vamir told us to go to Neyyah. We boarded a Jalood to go to Neyyah. It's kind of weird. You're on Ola J, but you need to go through Neyyah to get to a different part of Ola J. There's a reason for that, but basically our route has been cut off. So now we have to go back to where we came from at the start of the game, or at least that's what Vamir wants us to do, and find the Jalood. But then, of course, it'll be useless to us without the right programming. So we can't use that Jalood, which is why we have to find a secret portal. And the rest of these instructions, strangely enough, would have gotten us through the entire game if only this program was able to translate it. This first part is pretty clear. We're going to grab the Paida case behind us and restore power, and it'll let us access a bunch of new areas. And we're especially looking for an office at the Paida factory of the arrival sector to find a key. And this other stuff is all things we have to do. It's just we're missing a lot of important information. Transportation towers, not sure what that's about yet. A mask is needed for something, not sure why, but let's remember that. An orange Pai, probably Paida. A Velotron machine, let's remember that. A Zyphor something. Lower the Nielda, and then once we do this thing, the spores are released at the heater chamber. Sensors will activate, we'll go to the Pelska Shrine. Small Axe, the name of the person that Mason seemed to be afraid of. He'll come to Neyyah, and then we've got to activate the bunker teleportation system. We'll get to a secret portal, which should take us back to Ola J, or at least activate the Jalood if it doesn't take us directly back. And that's that. Hopefully we got all of that. But it's a lot, really easy to miss. Poor Mason. He's done for, so we're not going to see him again. And this is the Paida case. So we have a new interaction up at the top of the screen. We can always press escape to bring it up and open the Paida case. We can also press C for Paida case. And this computer will explain a little bit more what we're looking at. The Paida case. The Paida case holds the Paida devices. They provide power to various machines found on the Nyashka sites, developed in red, blue, green, and yellow designs. 3 components make up the symbology of the Paida device. A Talita portal triangle representing location, a line of 4 squares representing the Paida energy level, a circle with a line through it which makes a Paida unique to its given location. Please notify your instructor if any Paidas fail to operate during your training sessions. So we've actually seen something like this. On the water tank back at the starting, the Felitsu Island, the Gafunki zone, there was that blue circle, and it had a triangle on it. So that must be a Talita portal triangle. It had a line of 4 squares, and in fact the third from the bottom was colored in. And then there was a circle with a line through it. Something else to point out, I won't say every time we open up a computer, so it'll tell you what the computer is doing in particular. It's also got this Banox Systems mentioned, this word Banox. And Gray Mountain Systems here. Gray Mountain Systems is connected to the Paidas. Banox is the computer system, and then the Paida Systems is just the unique computer that we're on. But we're going to see this word a lot, so get used to it. And that's all we can do with the Paida computer here. Let's take a look at this lower one. Code required. Oh. Well, let's put it. Well, there's a circle. Oh, hey, we've seen that symbol before. The circle, the semicircles. We got 2 triangles and a box in the middle. I kind of see this as a crystal, like that would be a crystal shape. More semicircles, another crystal shape, and that's that. Well, we're gonna have to find a code somewhere. Let's take a look inside our Paida case. So you see every Paida here has the Talita portal triangle on it. This one has the 2 triangles with the square in the center, which I guess are Talita portal triangles. And so looks like there's 4 types of main triangles, right? No, not this. This one has multiple. There's this triangle here, which it's a right angle, like isosceles triangle with, it's like it's pointing up to the right. Like that's the direction the arrow's pointing. We've got an equilateral triangle with that's pointing straight up. We've got another isosceles right angle triangle pointing down to the left. and we've got an equilateral pointing down, and there's no other main triangles. This symbol, though, with the 2 triangles, actually could be made up of the other 4. I think it'll be easier to see that inside this computer system again with this symbol. So here's the equilateral facing up, here's the equilateral facing down, here's the right angle triangle facing down to the left, and here's the right angle triangle facing down to the right. And so the Paida triangles are one of the 4, or all 4 put together. Then, of course, we have the squares, the line of 4 squares. This one is the top one colored in, this one is the 3rd from the bottom, this one is the 2nd from the bottom, and this one is the bottom one. It turns out that the squares also match the color of the Paida. Every red Paida has the top square filled in. Every blue Paida has the next one. Every green Paida, the 3rd one. And every yellow Paida, the 4th. There's only one yellow Paida, strangely enough. There is a lot of green ones, 7 in total. There's 4 blue ones and 5 red ones. And then there's the circle with a line through it. The line can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, going either way. But we can't use those quite yet. But we did see, I'm trying to formulate my thought here. It's not a difficult thought. I'm just having trouble anyway because my brain is very slow. We did see the symbol to use this Paida case back at the water tank on Felitsu Island. So if we head back there, we might be able to use one of our Paidas on that machine. Now the exit is this door, but the button does not work. There's a poster we can check out. It says Neyyah Site 28 sectors. Camera sector, HQ lab sector, elevator sector, and arrival sector. Something interesting to note is that it has the semicircle bits on there that are not only part of the code we need, but also the same symbols we saw at the heater servers. And here they seem to be representative of different sectors. Arrival sector, HQ lab sector. This is the one we're in. We're at the HQ lab right now, so this is just where we are. And arrival sector is where we came in, as it says here, Jalood Arrival Station number 3, and Jalood Exit Stations number 4, as well as our current position. And then the Neyyah Spore collection pool is at the center one, which is all 4 triangles put together. So it's possible the code over here is related to this, right? The first number could be this multiple triangle symbol. The second number could be this semicircle, the HQ lab sector semicircle. The 3rd one's the full circle, which stands for arrival sector. And the final one is the semicircle on the right again. So let's try that out. So this should be... oh no, I had it right. This is actually on the right thing. Crystal. Then we want the semicircle here. We want the circle, and we want the semicircle here. Now something about almost every code in the game. The game automatically checks your code, and if you have it right, it just sends it through. You don't have to press a button, which means if you know you have 3 out of 4 of them right, here's how we solve this next part. I'm just going to click until we win. There we go. Unlock door. Access to Lab HQ lobby granted. My dearest Taleva, I'm glad you managed to access this console. Since your last visit to check the sensors at the Neyyah pools, I thought I'd assist you in any other explorations you'd wish to carry out on Neyyah. Your inspections on the systems I've put in place have been invaluable, especially with my memory. Head like a sieve, as my mother would insistently tell me. Plus, I've enjoyed seeing you more often over the last couple of months as our work finally comes to an end. Soon we will be able to make up for lost time. So Taleva here, somebody, I imagine Vamir is the one writing this here. Taleva is perhaps his wife or partner. Let's see. Last visit checked sensors at the Neyyah pools. Something important there. I've put together some notes for you inside a book. You can retrieve it from inside this console by pressing the unlock button on the next screen. The book contains a rough map detailing the route from here to the Paida factory, where my new secret office is located. I have programmed certain portals to deactivate upon the release of this book, which should keep you on the right track. If you wish to explore the rest of Neyyah, you'll have to power them back up using the console I've set up in the secret office. So we are meant to find the secret office at the Paida factory, which was part of the transcript we read. And some portals are deactivated now, which means we are not able to freely explore Neyyah until we find the office, at which point those portals should be powered back up again. Also, you'll be happy to know that I have made some adjustments to the Pelska portal. Once powered, you'll be able to traverse Neyyah faster. You'll find it behind you in the cabinet beside the emergency broadcast monitor. Stay safe, Vamir. So let's look for a Pelska portal. Excellent. So it's on the cabinet behind us. That's here. We can actually see some notes. I have attained a new crystal from the Pelska Shrine. This has solved the issue of certain areas in Neyyah not being accessible through this handheld portal. I have decided to call it the Pelska Portal. Ertner. Well, we've seen the name Ernter. So is it supposed to be Ertner or is it supposed to be Ernter? Whatever his name is, he's also updated the Bannock system, which this portal system operates on. Bannock system, same as the name of the computers. Making sure to hide it from Small X's gaze. The sensors I have hidden within Neyyah's Pelorian portals also react instantly upon accessing areas of Neyyah. These sensors unlock traversable areas of Neyyah within the Pelska portal. My work here on Neyyah will be much easier and quicker to conduct than I ever imagined. Of course, all of this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Orian's contributions. Activating the Pelska portal at the Pelska Shrine is now very instantaneous, and Orian seems to agree upon the activation code in memory of the Fazaltians that were lost, and from the ashes comes a new beginning. Fazalta continues to guide me in this mission, it seems. For this, I am thankful. The Pelska portal. You got some handles. Some good old grippy handles. The new Pelska Shrine crystal goes to the center. There's an activation button on the bottom, and the base connects to console at Pelska Shrine. So let's remember that. If we find the Pelska Shrine, we want to insert the Pelska portal, which is in this cabinet. I'm telling you right now, I did not know you could open that cabinet when I first played the game. I read the note, and I thought it's the only thing you can click on, even though the game tells you can click on a different thing. I thought it was the only thing you could click on, and so I was like, where is the goddamn Pelska portal? And I never used it. You don't need it. We can use the Pelska portal eventually, not right this minute. It's this thing that's grayed out. And it is a fast travel system. So you can beat the game without it, but it just speeds a couple things up. Awesome. Well, we got the new book. I'm going to read that book in just a second. Let's just get out of here. I want to be in a different location. Head back to the central area of the lab HQ. And it looks like we have a shaft here, probably an elevator shaft. And we can zoom in here, but we need an item to use whatever this is. And we can also look down at our feet and see a hatch that we can't open unless we put in an item there. It's probably going to be the key because Vamir mentioned finding a key in his office that we would use to unlock places on Neyyah, and it makes sense that Vamir's key would be used to unlock his lab. Okay, let's leave, and I'm going to read the journal. So it's in the journal's file. So J, the Paida Factory Secret Office Developments. Paida Factory Zone. Well, I can't read this. The game is asking for an item here, which is interesting. So let's start over here. Directions to the new office, the Paida Factory. For some reason, it starts on the right side and moves to the left, because you can see just barely there's a number 4 right there, and there's a number 3, there's number 2, and here's number 1. It's a very strange way of writing. Taleva, please refer to this map if you struggle to reach the Paida Factory from this lab. I have decided to hide some of it. Mason's salt trick will come in handy here. Let's remember that. Keep these notes safe. Start point, Lab HQ hangar, so that's where we are. And we follow the green line through the Glorfiak mines. Follow the path back to the cave, take the Pelorian portal to the heater servers of Philly 2 Islands Funky Zone. That's where we came from, so we're going back to here. So we walked through, I guess, what's called a Pelorian portal. So we're going to arrive at the heater servers in this location. And we're going to cross the heater servers and make your way to the Balulba pools, which is this way. Well, we saw that the door to the Balulba pools was not openable, but if we turn on the water tank, we should be able to open that door, because the pipe that led that way. And then there's 2 more instructions here, so we're going to have to find out what they are later. I have kept certain Binoxi eye portals open for your journey to the Paida factory. So this thing that we've seen must be a Binoxi eye portal, which is different from a Pelorian portal, which is different from a Pelska portal. This is just how the game is. Get used to it. When you leave Galorfiak Mines and reach the heater servers at the Gafunkia Zone, the Pelorian portal you would have arrived through will be inactive. In other words, once we leave, we can't come back to the mines. If you want to reach the Neyyah pools, that word again, you'll need to reactivate it at my secret office at the Paida factory, along with a few Binoxi eye portals. I know you're only too familiar with this hub station of Neyyah. Your checks and rechecks on the sensors I've set up at the heater chamber there have proved most valuable. Look out for this Talita portal to return here to the Galorfiak mines. So there's a nice triangle again. And on each Paida there is a triangle which is called a Talita portal triangle. So there's something about Talita portals with these triangle shapes that's connected to the Paidas. Any cart systems on Neyyah won't operate till you have powered the portals at the Paida factory, meaning even if we figure out what to do with a mine cart if we find something that looks like this, it's not going to work until we've gone to Paida factory. Basically, the game is going to put us on rails for a bit. We do have to do this in the exact order the game forces us to until we go to the Paida factory, at which point the game opens up. The lab here in Galorfiak Mines is no longer safe to Leva. I have to find a new place to protect my research. The Paida factory remains very cut off from the other Felitsu Island zones. With the collapse of the Yopalesh portal, it's unlikely Smolex's men will return here anytime soon. They find this place disorientating. They won't dare explore the lower depths of this ancient place. The lower level will lead me through the pier and down an elevator to the old storage bunker. This will be my new secret office to Leva, a place to keep my spare key for the numerous lock systems I've set up across Neyyah and all other important research documents. Disconnecting the mechanism from the original crane, once used to carry the Paidas up into the central tank, was no easy task, but alas, the entrance into the pier is now protected. Old Paida caskets still linger in the Pelorian flower-stained waters of the Paida factory's lower level. In case any unexpected visitors do decide to inspect the factory, I've boarded up the doorway to the old Paida storage room. I tested the ladder which leads up to the security access console. It won't drop down until the lever at the central tank in the factory is activated. The ladder on the side of the tank is still safe to use, but may need to be replaced at some point considering the state of the rest of the tank. So in other words, there's a security access console to get into this area, and you have to climb a ladder to reach it, but you can't get to that ladder until you pull a lever at the central tank in the factory, and to get to that lever, there's a different ladder. This is what confused me first time. These are two different ladders. Different ladder on the tank that you climb to pull the lever to drop the second ladder. The stale fumes of the Pyoltish clan's activities still stain the rusted skeleton of this eerie place. To think what that room would have sounded like when the Pyoltish clan were busy at work inside the pods, fastened tight, creating their magic, the Paitas. Now I am using the ruin of their home to accomplish my own tasks. To Leva, and am I just like him, draining what is left of this world for my own purposes? Some nights, having returned to yourself in Niluka on Oluj, I gaze up into the blanket of stars above me and I wonder, is Fazalta completely lost? Is there any way to truly bring it back? Then I remember seeing our son a few mornings ago before returning to my work here on Neyyah. He was so bound to his pen and paper, sketching his own interpretation of the old Fazaltian world, even labeling places in Galahanti. He has taken such a shine to their old language, and in such moments I tell myself, yes, I have to keep going. Not long now to Leva. Find what you need in my secret office at the Paida factory to get access to the rest of Neyyah. I'll see you both soon. X. And that's that. So we're going to have to go back to the start of the game and then move on through the door to the Balulba pools and some other steps according to the book, and that will lead us to Vamir's secret office. That is what I will do in the next video. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Hope you're all having a good one. Goodbye.